Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our podcast entitled Lupus Out Loud. This is our third episode. I'm really excited about today's episode because it's a conversation that feels very timely, especially during this season. We are recording in December 2025 when so many of us are carrying extra stress emotionally, physically, mentally, and dare I say financially. So today's topic is one that comes up often in this community, and that is lupus and stress. And this is not a conversation that I wanted to have alone. I invited a friend who is very near and dear to me. She is someone I respect deeply, and I'll let her introduce herself in just a moment. She is a licensed professional counselor. I love to brag on my friends. We actually started off as teachers together. And I'm going to give her the floor to introduce herself and share what she does.
Hey everyone, my name is Jasmine Miller. I am a licensed professional counselor in the Houston area. And Floyd Dreka is right. We did start as teachers together. We taught together for a few years.
Yes, we did.
And my last year, she actually made it my best year. So it was awesome.
Oh, I appreciate that. Y'all hear that, y'all? I appreciate that. I'm smiling. I'm pretty sure you can hear my smiles on the microphone. And I want to start here because, as she said, we didn't always work in the fields that we're in now. We actually started off as teachers. We taught together fourth grade. And I'd love for you to share, what was it that led you to step into the field of work that you are in right now and becoming a licensed professional counselor?
I think that last year we all were together was really the biggest push because it was a COVID year.
Yes, it was.
And the students that we taught, we got to teach them very closely, very intimately. It was a very small setting, and we enjoyed it. And I remember going in the hallways, and we would read this sign that says, "Be who you needed when you were younger." And it was time for me to take the jump.
Yes.
So I did.
And I definitely remember you pulling students to the side and honing in on those skills and counseling even before you graduated and really pouring into your students right there. And then in that time and that heart for helping people and helping students is exactly why I invited you here today. So our focus for today's episode is lupus and stress, and you are incredibly credentialed in helping people understand stress and learn how to manage it in healthy ways. Keyword, healthy ways. So before I get into the research, from your personal perspective, what kinds of stress are you seeing people carry right now, especially during this season?
It's great that you would definitely ask that question. The kinds of stress that I am seeing currently from most of my clients, I would say at the top of the list would have to be grief. Grief is high right now.
Yes.
Loss of things, especially with loss of family members, loss of jobs, loss of money loss of money in which they cannot afford the lifestyle in which they were used to this year. They cannot afford the gifts. So then there's overwhelm. That's another thing I'm seeing. A lot of people are overwhelmed with trying to provide.
Yes.
To live a normal life.
Yes.
And then trying to balance being a parent and then working, or business owners with families. So
Yes.
I'm seeing a lot of different things. And then I think with all of us, it's this invisible pressure.
Okay. Yes.
I think everyone has, a lot of us, I won't say everyone, but a lot of us have this invisible pressure that we carry to reach our next milestone.
Oh, wow.
Whichever that may be.
Yes, yes. It's always what's next instead of just staying in the now.
Right.
And what I heard you say, and I really like that you focused on, like when you said grief, it's not just grief of people, grief of things, grief of a lifestyle, that a lot of people really don't think they can grieve, and grief is real. And I just want to briefly highlight that we really became close, and she really helped me manage my lupus symptoms during her last year in the classroom where my dad did have cancer, and she helped me manage those emotions so that way I could still be effective at my job. and ultimately decrease disease activity, which is why we're here. She helped me, and I want her to help y'all. So, as I was preparing for this episode, I spent some time reviewing lupus research around stress. And what the research consistently shows is that stress is not just emotional for people with lupus, it's associated with increased disease activity, more pain, more fatigue, and frequent flares. So, this comes from long term research published in rheumatology and autoimmune disease journals. So, this is where I am going to put the ball in your court. So, when you hear that stress can actually influence inflammation and disease activity, what stands out to you as a counselor?
When I hear that statement, I hear stress ignites the inflammation.
Okay, yes.
And we do have to point out that when you are living with a unpredictable illness, the emotional toll of that is huge, because you don't know what's coming next. It's the unpredictability behind it.
Yes.
And honestly, that puts you in a state of fear, because
Yes.
you don't know when the next flare up's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And then, so it's you have to do some, I guess, some pre-relaxation to
Yes.
keep yourself kind of calm.
Yeah.
And then care during the flare up and after.
Yes.
So it's like that's a big part that we're not talking about.
Exactly. And I love that you said unpredictable illness. I was actually reading something and doing my research that says that stress is both a trigger and a consequence of having lupus, which was very powerful. So stress can actually trigger a flare, and then just having this invisible disease, as a lot of people like to say, because a lot of people tell us that we don't look sick. Just having that on your back, that also could be a consequence. Like, I'm trying to stress about not stressing because I know what stress can lead to. And so it's really, I love that you talked about the unpredictability of the illness, because life is unpredictable. And when life is unpredictable, we internalize that, which leads to that inflammation that you talked about. And so that makes so much sense, because there's actually a biological reason for this, and I just want to explain it in a simple way. So we have something called the HPA axis, which stands for hypothalamus pituitary adrenal gland. So that's our body's main stress response system. So think of it like a group chat. Hypothalamus texts pituitary, hey, we have a stressful situation. Pituitary texts adrenal. Adrenal says, I got it. I'll text everybody. So that way we know how to respond. Here's the group message to everybody: release the cortisol. Now, when we have that, when we release the cortisol, that's our body's way of dealing with trauma and a stressful situation. So after the stressful situation, cortisol goes down. But what happens when there is compound stress, compound trauma, and autoimmune diseases is there is an overactive group chat. The texts never stop. And I don't know if you've ever had a group chat where you had to mute it. It was just too much activity. Everybody is active. Everybody has something to say. And that's exactly what happens in someone with lupus. It's a constant alarm going off. And that can really impact the way we live, because that leads to inflammation. So when the body is stuck in that constant state of alert, that constant state of text bombarding our phones being our bodies, what kinds of tools could help bring that back into regulation? How can we regulate ourselves?
I hear you ask me, how can we regulate ourselves during the flare up process?
Yes.
But I also want to, before we do that, we need to regulate you before.
Yes, come on. Yes.
We need to keep you stress free.
Yes.
Before the flare up.
I like that.
And how can we do that? I think that's a big question too. So when the flare up happens, we're just in maintenance mode or tolerance mode.
Yes.
So I think before that we need to look at how can we balance stress, period.
Okay.
Okay.
I agree.
I think the main things, and this may be hard. This may be really hard, what I'm about to say. But getting enough sleep.
Yes. Oh, man.
eating the colors of the rainbow. That's not like fried foods. Some baked
Yes.
foods with veggies. Y'all, we need veggies, okay? The veggies have the nutrients.
Yes.
And the
They
reason why
do.
the diseases are running rampant now, it's because we're not eating the things with the nutrients in them.
Yes.
We need the
We do.
nutrients. Okay. So feeding your body well, sleeping well, moving your body. I cannot express this enough. We have to move. You have to move your body, whether it's walking, running, jogging, lifting, during chair. Go to the restroom and do squats every time you sit on the toilet
Yes.
at your own house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, pick up some cans and do some curls.
Absolutely.
We
And I
have
love
to
that.
we have to move our bodies.
Yes.
Every time when I drive my son to school, I see these older people who don't look like me, and I'm like, wow, they're living so young, they're living so long. They're out here moving.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I agree. And I love that you spoke on nutrition because that's actually what we talked on last episode. We talked about the importance of nutrition and how nutrition can um, hinder or help you depending on what you're choosing to put in your bodies and making sure you're choosing those anti-inflammatory foods, shopping on the perimeter of the store instead of going down those middle
Yes.
aisles. And I
Yes.
love that you highlighted that. See, this is why I brought her, you all. She knows her stuff. She knows her stuff. And then one thing I do want you to speak on, and you can kind of give your expertise, is that you said moving your bodies.
Oh yes.
So sometimes this can be difficult in some of us with lupus due to the inflammation to where moving our bodies may hurt a little bit. What are some gentle ways we can get some movement going so that way we can keep ourselves in a low stress state? What are some gentle ways? Let's say we can't lift up a can. What are some gentle ways we can move our bodies or get active?
Okay. There are a lot of stretching.
Mm-hmm.
Stretching. If you cannot be as active as you would like, stretching is a great thing.
Yes.
Stretching is a great option. Okay. Very easy yoga, chair yoga
Yes.
is very light. You know, as long as you are moving and not standing still,
That is
you
very true.
even if you're moving one finger at a time, every small thing counts. Every small thing counts. It all adds up.
And it's funny that you say that because I had a friend who invited me. There's a run club in Houston, and I told him, honey, I cannot run. My running days are over. But I can walk. And so, yeah, there are power walkers. I don't know about power walking. I will walk at my. How do you come to somebody's event and tell them what you can do? But I know my limits. And I think that's so important that you're still moving your body. And I don't feel bad. I know my limits. I'm not going to power walk. I will walk at my pace, and I am happy with that because, as you said, I can still move my body, and it still counts. I don't need to do a lot, you know. And I think that's where a lot of us get discouraged. Oh, I'm hurting. I can't do anything. You can kind of stretch your body.
Yeah. Can
That
you
counts.
do some shoulder shrugs?
Yes, that counts.
Can you do some head turns?
Absolutely. And what about talking to a therapist or a counselor? Because sometimes family and friends may not always understand what you're going through. What kind of support systems do you think people with lupus should rely on? Do you think they should lean more on friends and families? Do you think they should get somebody licensed, such as yourself? What would you recommend for those that are battling stress?
For those that are battling stress, I would recommend that first you talk to somebody you trust, somebody that you are connected to, whether that is a friend, family member, is or a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that you trust. And if you feel like that you don't trust anybody that you are close to, it is okay to reach out to a therapist.
Yes.
I was just telling someone the other day that we have to pay for the village now.
Wow.
We used to be able to go down the street and ask our neighbors and our cousins, hey, can you do this? Can you do this? Hey, I can do this if you can do this. We can trade favors, transactional things. Now you have to pay for that.
Yeah.
Because now, hey, we're working 8 to 10 hours a day. So we have to pay for someone to clean our house or pay for someone to watch our kids at the daycare. We have to pay for the village.
Yes.
And it's okay to pay for a therapist, pay for someone with an unbiased view that's going to help you help yourself.
And I do agree. And even if, let's say you're saying, I hear what you're saying, Jazz, and I can't afford it, I do want to let you know first, you can't afford to not afford. Like, you have to invest in speaking to someone about these things, because what builds up inside leads to inflammation. And we also have amazing resources at lupustexas.org, where we have a plethora of support groups. So even if you cannot get to a counselor or a therapist, we have support groups for kids with lupus, which is led by me. We have support groups for women with lupus, for men with lupus, for couples trying to navigate lupus together. So we do have resources out there that are free. Just in case you are on a budget, look at lupustexas.org. We have so many options, and we would love to have you come in and just talk it out with us. That's what we're here for, right? Community is important. Yes, ma'am.
And if we're being honest, the support groups are probably the best option because there's no other thing like community.
Yes.
Like community, like having people around you who share the same story but different, just to know that we're not alone. It's that sense of belonging.
Yes, belonging matters.
But belonging does matter.
Belonging matters. And it's funny because I just had everything is funny today. I keep saying it's funny. It's funny. Everything is funny today. That's why it's called Lupus Out Loud. LOL. Everything is funny.
See,
okay.
Yeah, that's how it was. That's exactly how it was
funny.
with you.
Everything is funny. Okay. So let me focus. Well, where was I? Where are my notes? Okay. I had it's a new lady at my job, and the PE teacher said, I think you need to talk to her. I said, why? And she said, she has lupus. And I said, oh, wow. So I bumped into her today. And she said, oh, give me your number. It feels good to have somebody that understands why I'm moving slow, why I'm dragging, why I can't do this. I said, absolutely. She doesn't know anything about the support groups, but I am going to give her this podcast as soon as it's released, because community is so important. Sometimes just being around people you don't have to explain yourself to. Exactly. We could just sit in a room and we just know what's up, right? So what you're sharing and what you have shared is so important, because studies published in rheumatology and behavioral health journals show that structured stress management programs, things like mindfulness, counseling, and coping skills can significantly reduce stress and anxiety, which is why, and this is why I brought her in, y'all, which is why she said support groups are super important. They can reduce the stress, anxiety, depressive symptoms in people living with lupus. And this was a study done over 6 to 8 weeks in a cohort of about 30 to 100 people. They saw significant improvements in the quality of life. And so I just wanted to ask you all, or ask you rather, is there anything you would like to add to that? Because what you described isn't just helpful, it's supported by research. Is there anything you want to say about that?
I do want to just reiterate, like you said, that mindfulness piece too. I went straight to the physical and eating right and sleeping right, but that mindfulness piece, just calming yourself, is really helpful.
And is that what mindfulness is?
Yes.
Okay.
Just being present.
Yes.
Being present where you are instead of wherever your mind may go to next week, next year, hopes and dreams. Or the flare up.
Yes. What ifs?
Yeah. How can you practice mindfulness, during the flare ups? Because the flare ups can lead to hopelessness and loss of identity with some, and even some grief.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and I noticed that when the body feels unsafe, the mind will stay on high alert.
And that is so true. I will wake up with one pain, and I said, here comes a flare. That's it. It's a wrap. I'm about to have a flare. I'm about to be put on 50 different pills. I've already created the worst scenario. And it's just one pain instead of just, you know what? Hey, we're not going to go there. I'm going to stay right here where I am right now. It's going to be okay. Sometimes I have to talk to myself. It's going to be okay.
Let me give you 2 tips.
Okay, please.
Let me give y'all 2 tips.
I have my pen
I need
ready.
y'all to have y'all pens.
I have it ready.
Okay, the first thing is box breathing. While you're laying in your bed, you can do this. Okay, just think of that old Wendy's 4-4-4. Okay,
I remember you saying
you're gonna
4-4-4.
4-4-4. And how I like to think of breathing is smell the flower, blow the candle. Smell the flower, hold it, and then blow the candle like you're blowing through a straw. And always remember, the exhale needs to be longer than the inhale because that's where the relaxation happens. Okay? The exhale needs to be longer than the inhale. We have to remember that. And the next one, real quick, is my favorite tool is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? Immediately, okay, you focus on 5 things. You close your eyes. You do your breathing. Okay? When you open your eyes, you look for 5 things you can see. Kind of stare at them for about 10 to 15 seconds. 4 things you can touch. Go and touch them. Literally. Spend time with those things. 3 things you can hear and sit and listen. 2 things you can smell and go taste 1 thing.
I know that's right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's mindfulness. That's putting you back in the present moment instead of in your head.
I like that. Thank you for
That's my
sharing
favorite
that.
one.
Now I feel like I gotta call you out because you said the numbers were 4-4-4. But when we were teaching and she had to calm me down, I feel like it was a 4-6-7. I was holding my breath for a long time. Okay. Jazz.
You're talking about the 4-7-8.
Okay, well I was close. 4-7-8.
4-7-8. I did mention the 4-4-4, but the 4-7-8. That's like when you're trying to rest and go to bed. You breathe for 4. You inhale for 4. Hold for 7, exhale for 8. That's going to relax. And once again, that exhale is longer than the inhale. Yes. So that's 1, 2. That's another breathing technique.
Oh,
so yes.
All right. I thought you were trying to cheat me now. I was like, you had me holding my breath for 7 seconds and blowing out for 8. What? How did you get the revised version and I had to do?
Look, I'm trying to give everyone different versions.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay?
Yes.
I'm trying to give some quick ones because I know.
Yes. In the moment, you need that tool.
Yes, you need.
And I'm so glad
quick.
you gave us the tools that you did because as you see right here, I have my notes, y'all. I believe in taking notes.
Yes, I do too.
And it's the teacher in us. And so we talked about some heavy things, but important things. And I wanted to end with a little bit of fun. So we're going to play a game called This or That Self-Care. So I'm going to give you 2 options and you just pick what feels right, what you would rather do. Okay. Sleeping in or going to bed early?
Sleeping in.
I know this, right? Yes. Ding, ding, ding. Quiet morning or quiet evening?
Quiet mornings.
I love slow mornings. Please don't have me just hopping out the bed and just it's everything I gotta do. Just let me ease into the students knew that. Mellow music.
You know,
yes.
I knew how it was.
Yes, mellow. Candle lit or natural sunlight?
Natural light.
Okay. Journaling or talking it out?
Depends on what it is.
I know, yeah.
Depends on what it is.
Staying home or getting out the house?
I think as I'm getting older, I'm learning that getting out the house electrifies me.
Okay.
It gives me a little burst of energy.
Okay.
So I can come back home and relax. So
yes.
It just kind of changes up the scenery
it's
a little bit.
It's nice to change it up a little bit.
That's it.
And the last one I'm going to ask you, and I've been guilty of this, putting my phone on D&D. Phone on silent or D&D? Silent. You prefer silent?
Oh, I want everything off.
I know. I texted you about this episode.
Baby, and I will turn the phone off.
I was about to say notify anyway. We got some business to talk about. But
Oh
that's
no,
boundaries, y'all.
that's counseling mode. That's a whole different setting. No one can talk to me when I'm in counseling mode. It's a setting on my phone.
And that's honestly that boundary you set forth. I feel like that's another self care tool that we as lupus people with living with lupus and honestly anybody period can exercise to regulate their systems and stress levels. Is boundaries, and it helps you stay mindful when you don't have the
Yes.
constant BP
Mhm.
vibrations and stuff like that. So before we wrap up, I want to give space to something that aligns so beautifully with today's conversation. You have a book coming up
I
called
do.
Becoming Balanced.
Yes, I do.
And I would love for you to share what inspired it and who it's for.
Being a teacher inspired becoming balanced because we're trying to balance life and work. And I think
Mm,
a lot of us who make money are trying to balance life, work, and taking care of ourselves and our responsibilities, whatever those are. So becoming balanced just gives 5 tips in which you can use to help you balance out your life because a lot of us are overwhelmed with our responsibilities and we like where do we start?
yeah.
Here. I got it right here.
Start with the book.
Start with the book.
Page 1.
And I'll even give you the first tip because I want everyone to start with this. Prioritize, y'all.
Yes.
Prioritize. Set your priorities in order. That will help you.
Yeah.
Without a plan, you plan to fail.
Mm.
You have to put your priorities in order.
Yes.
And that's before anything.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. As we close, I just want to remind everyone that is listening that stress management isn't indulgent, it's essential. Rest is not weakness. As our counselor, our lovely counselor has shared with us, balance is not perfection. Before we sign off, I want to give you the final word. Is there anything else you'd like to leave with our listeners?
I want to tell you thank you for inviting me. It's been an honor
Of course.
to come on to your podcast. Listeners, y'all have a great podcast host. So
Thank you
please
so
keep
much.
listening in. And I want to remind everyone that just because you can't see lupus, it does not mean it's not exhausting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Just because you cannot see it does not mean it doesn't exist.
And thank you. I thank you for speaking to our people with lupus out there. Thank you for being here, taking time out of your busy
Thank you
schedule.
for having me.
Thank you for listening to Lupus Out Loud. And until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye.
Peace.